No one is waiting after me, so that's fine. I think some of you may have been visiting Amphoe. Please, anyone have been visiting Amphoe? At least one. Okay, fine. Uh, okay, I would like to talk about a village that it was abandoned as well. Why? Because this village is like a sleeping village during almost 30 years after the change of the mode of transportation from water transport to land transport. So the market, the water market in Amphoe Canal uh, moved to other cities. Okay, uh, this effect why it's important because people start to move out. They move out to other towns. Shops also closing down, and then people won't pay attention to maintain their houses without reason because why they have to pay for the maintenance, for the restoration without economy in this town. So until we arrived in 2001 for research and heritage study, then we have a chance to work with the Thai ministry and the DANIDA or Danish government agency for heritage conservation. So the project we call TSEP, represented for Thailand Cultural Environment Project. Anyway, we work also with other agencies, other public government ministries and also private organizations. And also the foundation of Chai Patana, which belong to the His Majesty of the King, and Princess Her Royal Highness also represent as the president of the foundation, also take part in this conservation process. 3 years after the research and the demonstration project, the municipality also revitalized the floating market with the local people. Finally, the conservation of the architecture, the built environment, and the revitalization of the floating market attracts tourists coming in. And right now there are many Chinese tourists coming in as well. This happened after 3 years of the conservation process, and now it took about 12 years for tourism in this village. Today I will talk about two things shortly. First, I will talk about Chinese influence in this community. I would like to say Chinese, Thai blended together. The second, I would like to talk about the conservation and revitalization process and the impact in this area. Anyway, Amphoe community is facing new challenges. Uh, First of all, I would like to introduce you where is Amphoe. Amphoe is located about 1 hour's drive from Bangkok to the west. Here you can see the river and the canal. So Amphoe is located on the river side and also the canal side, both sides of the canal of Amphoe. Amphoe, the name means mangoes forest in Buddha's life. So you can imagine that the cultural landscape uh, uh, already is the orchard with mixed, this is a mixed orchard with raised bed garden comprising pomelo, mangoes, lychee, and so on. Here you can see a mixture of Thai architecture and Chinese architecture. This is a Thai architecture, Thai house, facing the river, the canal, along the canal and the sea. Here you can see what we would like to say Chinese architecture. They are row houses, okay? Row houses represent Chinese architecture. And this happened at the beginning of the 20th century after the abolition of slavery and the king let individual person to hold the piece of land. Then it happened that Chinese immigrant came to this region to establish the village and the commercial activities as a middleman. You can see the housings along the canal that adapt very well to the high tide and low tide. By the seawater. In this area, there are diversity of heritage. First, here's another view of Thai temple around this area. There are many beautiful temples, such as the Ampawan Jetiyaram temple, and also there's a King Rama II Memorial Park, since Ampawa is the birthplace of the King Rama II. In some Thai temple, we can recognize that there are also Chinese influence in the arts, such as in this temple Wat Bangkapom. We can see the stucco of at the ceiling. You can see that the kind of activities of commerce, ship commerce between Siam and China at that period started already, and the stucco of Chinese housing in this area. Also, we can see that the practice of race-based garden, which was influenced by Chinese immigrant from the south of China, and right now this is the practice of the mixed orchard in this area. We can see vegetarian house and also Chinese shrine in this village. There are several of them, and also we can see Chinese influence in their painting, even in a Thai temple like in Wat Ampawan. You can see that below the base of the Lord Buddha, you can see the Chinese painting that represent the personage, the birds, and also you can see the activities during the period of the King Rama II in this temple in Wat Ampawan. And the personage, Chinese personage, and also other international people that migrant in Siam. Right now you can see row houses. This is Chinese architecture, and there were shop house along the canal. We can see also the municipality in Ampawa. It was a Chinese school in the past, made of wood, timber. Also, we still have a Chinese school in this area. It's a private Chinese school, and over there, they still keep the Guan Wu God, the god of defense, in this school. But in Thailand, the Guan Wu God is represented as red-faced god, unlike what we see here. Here, In Amphoe, the Faculty of Architecture in Chulalongkorn University have a chance to work with many organizations. Firstly, the Danida, the Danish government, and then the Office of Natural Resources and Environment, and then we have the Chai Patana Foundation of the King, and also the province of Samut Songkhram and the municipality of Amphoe itself. So the conservation process under this project cover the cultural heritage surveys, the major works of the implementation heritage buildings in this area. And then we also working on awareness raising activity. This is very important that we have done before the demonstration project or the conservation of the heritage building. Here, the TSEP project provide financial support for the restoration of 17 wooden houses along the canal and and there's one landscape project. So the TSEP project support 50% of the structure maintenance in this project. This is one of example of the row houses under the conservation process, and after that, this is during the maintenance, the restoration, after the restoration, and right now we use it as an information center to cater tourists coming in. This is another example of the municipality building. It was made of teak wood, and it was a Chinese school before. Then with the conservation process is look better, and they can use the space better than before. This is an example of one row houses belong to the foundation, and with the participation of the foundation and the provincial level, we arrive to have this row house success for the restoration. You can see the look of the former stage before the restoration process. It look bad, unmaintained, and deteriorated. The other example is raft house, or we can say floating house, which is there were a lot. We have a lot in the past, but after that they were not permitted anyway. So here we still have one raft house was lifted on land. And this is a good example that the owner still maintain, and the owner join the project. And after that, this raft house, right now it is open to receive for architectural students and visitors to learn the structure of the raft house here. So this is a good case. So I will talk about the impact of the process. Firstly, it is the use of the land and the building. This is the image before the restoration process. You can see that at that time, normally 70% of housing closed down because there was no more activities, there is no market anymore. The market moved to other city, people were moving out, okay? And when we arrived in 2001, people still ask question why we have to restaurate their house because there's no job, no activities. They don't want to spend money. But anyway, we have to work with them for awareness raising, which is very important. Let them know the heritage they have, which is very important. Otherwise, they don't know the importance. They get used to what they're living in their village. You know, it's very normal for them to see bad condition of housing. So start with the project. You can see that the green dot represent the location of the TCEP demonstration project that participate for restoration. And after that, we have done monitoring. We found that there are more private owned building that join the restoration. Even they have to pay 100%. But they see that the housing that already restored, they open as a souvenir shop, they open as a homestay, and they can have more money during the weekend with the floating market activity during Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Okay. Also, there's some private agency like paint company as a TOA. Paint company also join this restoration. They join the facade paint, repaint in the market. This is the row house of the age of about 20 years. And there's a study of the color selection. My colleague joined this project. So they have the theory how to represent it. And she make a plan of the color analysis. And then she came out with the plan of the row house repaint with a color, new color donated from the private sector. And also the repaint of the bridge at the market. Then we will go on for the economic change after the conservation process. With the floating market organized during Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, is bring tourists, both Thai and international. And right now there are more and more Chinese tourists coming in. So this can revitalize as well the economic situation. So local people, they have their hand skill on the cultural works. For example, they made ceramic, Chinese polychrome ceramic. This is also the influence of Chinese ceramic in this area during the reign of King Rama II. Also, we can see that the handcraft development both in this area and the surrounding area. And why this village organized only 3 days of floating market? This is like a balance between the local one and people from outside. You know, if you have a big money but you are from outside, you have to calculate if you will lose money or not, because the business is going on only 3 days, not the whole week. Okay. So we have studied about the number of visitors coming in Amphoe. The number is increasing, and also this is the number in 2006 and 2008. We found that a lot of housing in this area, they were restorated, and then they transfer some part of their house as homestay to receive visitors during the weekend. And there are more and more houses that catering tourists like this, from 18 accommodation in 2004 to more than 150 in 2009. For the income generation, we found that people earn more from tourist activity. We can say that it is additional income, not anyway, not the main income anyway. Okay. So also we can observe that the structure of the economic, there's a trend of change from agricultural base to tourist and service based economy. For social and cultural change, we found that uh, with the floating market revitalization and the built environment conservation, these two projects bringing back young people to this community, and the community is more lively, and this make the social strengthening within the community as well. Every year there's a big celebration at the King Rama second park, and which is a very big ceremony, and Her Royal Highness is coming uh, in February. For the cultural revitalization, we observe that there are more and more water-based activities, culture that have been revitalized here, like giving alms during early morning, or boat racing activities. And also there's a very important activities, we can say that Loi Krathong festival. This is falling at the end of the year, and many people join these activities along the canal and the river. In 2008, Amphoe received the UNESCO Asia Pacific Heritage Award. And this we can say that Amphoe is like a Amphoe model that other communities in Thailand, especially old river market, they came and they took Amphoe model, and then they adapt the model to their environment. And this is why there's about 20 old river market that revitalized. So this process of vernacular architecture conservation, both tangible and intangible heritage, success in this case, and many communities in Thailand, even in the south, apply this model and adapt to their context. Anyway, I would like to say thank you for your attention. Thank you very much.